Championship leader Charles Leclerc will start on pole for the Australian Grand Prix after outpacing title rival Max Verstappen with his final lap in an exciting Melbourne qualifying that was disrupted by crashes. Leclerc left it late but posted a mighty 1:17.868 in the dying embers of Q3 to snatch pole from Verstappen, who finished almost 3/10 off the driver who has gone wheel to wheel with in both races to start the season. "It feels great," said Leclerc, who now has 2 poles out of 3 this year. "We were quite surprised by our pace. Our frustrated Verstappen has complained about a lack of balance all weekend and felt that held him back in qualifying, calling it a struggle and insisting there wasn't one lap where I felt confident." So yeah, it's looking like they will go head-to-head tomorrow. Verstappen still beat Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez, while Lando Norris delivered a superb 4th for McLaren as the team put their early 2022 struggles behind them with both cars in the top 7. An improvement was also found for Mercedes, while still finishing over 1 second off pole. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell managed 5th and 6th lowly positions given Mercedes' recent success, but heady ones considering their form so far this weekend and this season. Carlos Sainz was surprisingly only 9th, however, for a Ferrari, caught out by the red flags brought out by Fernando Alonso in the second crash of qualifying. Alonso, who looks to be in the battle for the top positions, was on a stonking opening lap, but went off in the final sector due to an engine issue. Earlier in qualifying, there's a bizarre coming together as Nicholas Latifi and Lance Stroll crashed heavily in Q1. Latifi and Stroll were both on the slow laps when they scoreboard over position when trying to get out of their way of another car, with Stroll inadvertently turning into the Williams as he tried to pass. Both drivers playing each other. The incident could also have further repercussions up the grid as Perez is in doubt now for failing to slow under double wave yellows. But heading into qualifying, it looked like there could be a 14 fight for the pole, with Alpine and McLaren joining Ferrari and Red Bull in the battle at the front. Once the session began, however, the cream certainly rose to the top. Red Bull looked to be in control with Verstappen and Perez topping Q1 and Q2, but the Ferraris always looked more stable on the track this weekend. It was Leclerc who delivered when it mattered most. The 0.286 margin to Verstappen was mainly built on the last 2 corners, and the pair will renew hostilities from the front on Sunday, with Red Bull having 2 against 1 thanks to Sainz's struggles. McLaren and Mercedes provided one of the biggest talking points from qualifying, however, thanks to their return to form. McLaren, they appear to have solved their brake issues, and so the new high-speed Albert Park layout has definitely helped them, while Mercedes have third row, largely down to their driver and quality setup. Mercedes have not brought upgrades this weekend, but both Hamilton and Russell split by 10th and impressed the team and got their underperforming W13 into a better window despite the poor quizzing. "I felt like we extracted the most out of the car today," said Hamilton. "The problem is when you push the car a little bit more, it's quite spiteful. It's like a viper or a rattlesnake," he said. Alfa Romeo and Haas meanwhile took sets back, both failing to reach Q3 for the first time this season, while Williams and Aston Martin enjoyed miserable Saturdays. Not only did Lance Stroll crash, but Alex Albon stopped on track, as well as Latifi, of course, in the track, and Sebastian Vettel were able to get back on track after a P3 shunt, finished P18 and was handed the pit lane speeding fine. But before I go on to the final classification, and yeah, we had Charles Leclerc on pole. Not much more you could say about Charles Leclerc, really. He's just been outstanding in qualifying, and I think Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez in 2nd and 3rd will be pretty happy with that. Probably Max than they do, because Ferrari's looking really strong. And yeah, good for Red Bull to have 2 against 1 against Carlos Sainz, who obviously had a really difficult qualifying. I feel sorry for him because the red flag came out just as he was about to set a good lap. Lando Norris in 4th, though. Great to see him back up there. That's really strong. For Mercedes, well, 5th and 6th, that's probably the maximum they can do, and they'll hope to take advantage of others' bad luck in front of them. Ricciardo in 7th, still a bit of a way off Norris, but still 7th compared to where he's been this season. It's not too bad. Ocon in 8th, to be honest, I think Alonso did seem to have a bit more pace, and I think Alpine will be quite disappointed because they didn't quite maximise their maximum, I think, today. AlphaTauri 11th and 13th, it's not the end of the world, not too bad, but yeah, I think Bottas in 12th will be pretty disappointed because, he probably felt like he could have got a bit more out of that Alfa Romeo. But yeah, just didn't seem to have the pace today in qualifying. And then you got Guan Yu Zhou in 14th. It's not terrible for him. Mick Schumacher in 15th. Yeah, I just don't know what happens to Haas today. Kevin Magnussen in 17th. They just didn't seem to have the pace. And then you got Alex Albon in 16th. And then yeah, the Aston Martins and Williams, who just are having an awful weekend. And yeah, it's just not looking great for those teams at all at the moment. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. If you like, subscribe. If you want to comment down below, find out to say subscribe for daily F1 news and subscribe to my channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.